Hello and welcome to video number one on the series of fasting from a spiritual perspective. But before I begin, let me just say I'm grateful to God for every morning allowing me to wake up and share what I'm about to explain in this video. Because what I learned over the last decade of study in the area of fasting took my life on the most dramatic and unexpected turns imaginable, and although this topic is not easy to tackle, I believe God's given me the green light to do so. Because what happened over the years has led to breakthrough discovery that not only saved my life, but could very well save yours too. So, um, the breakthrough discovery that has revealed the real underlying root cause of strongholds that was holding my life back, including addictions to food and other things that I don't like talking about. It's left me in a humbling state of disbelief. I found this simple practice that freed me from overbearing stress, anxiety, and depression that had overtaken every waking moment of my day to day life. And it rapidly restored my energy and it revived my relationship with God beyond what I remember enjoying the very beginning of my salvation when I first found the Lord. But that's not all. Listen, brothers and sisters. My cousin Karen, she was with me through my darkest days, including that horrific nightmare of the unexpected loss of my father. Well, she used the same spiritual practice to cope with the breakup of her long term relationship. And our family, we watched in sheer wonder and near disbelief as even her most confidence robbing thoughts and words, they vanished from her lips along with the restless and relentless negative self talk that plagued her for, I don't know, decades. Her new state of mind, it's just completely changed. It's so healthy now. People who mean her no good seem to just quietly excuse themselves out of her life without confrontation. And as unbelievable as all this sounds, everything still feels new to us. All of this because of the biblical practice from 5,000 years ago. It has helped millions of people worldwide. And it's a commandment from Jesus. He tells his followers to do it regularly, but many people just choose not to do so. So I'm just going to say that I'm grateful to have discovered it for my own personal life. Fasting is an outlandishly powerful physical and mental health ritual that turns everything you thought possible about healing upside down. And whether I stumbled upon this because it was God's plan, divine intervention, or sheer good fortune, I wholeheartedly believe I now have an eternal responsibility to pay it forward to you. So mark my words. If you or someone you love is wrestling with a silent addiction or is suffering from excess of fast living, worldly distractions, or anything preventing you from developing a closer walk with God, this practice is about to change your life for the better in every way that counts, now and forever. Now, let me be clear. This video has nothing to do with being on a diet or dangerous food restriction of any kind or some kind of woo woo cult activity. You see, the immutable words of Jesus were recorded in the 17th chapter of Matthew, where he said that there were certain kinds of strongholds that only come out through prayer and fasting. More on that in a moment. But I promise you this, if regular fasting is something new to you and completely different than anything that you've ever done before, there is power in denying yourself what you want from time to time. The Bible is crystal clear. Fasting is just not about missing meals, it is for a spiritual purpose. So in this video series, we will be discussing fasting from the Judeo-Christian perspective. All walks of faith are welcome to join in on this discussion, for it is well known that Christianity was not the only religion to fast for spiritual purposes. You may be familiar with the Islamic practice of Ramadan or the Jewish fast during Yom Kippur. Many Catholic and other Protestant denominations fast during Lent. So this video series is here to answer the most common questions that most believers have about fasting as a discipline. Questions like, what is fasting all about? Or, why should we fast? Does God really notice, or does he even care if I do without food when there's so many more important things for him to worry about? Or isn't fasting just an outdated Old Testament thing? So a lot of people even struggle with the question, how do I even begin to fast because it's so hard? And if I mess up, won't God be mad or angry with me for not making it all the way through the fast? Rest assured, a lot of these questions will be asked or answered in this video series. But I have to admit to you, I once doubted the safety of fasting. And I doubted the necessity of fasting to bring order and to detox me from what was needed to be cleansed from my mind, my soul, and my body. You see, there's a lot of detox gimmicks, and they're sold and bought over the internet every day. Most are nothing more than fancy diuretics that cause you to run to the bathroom multiple times an hour. However, here's the big catch that many people don't talk about when it comes to fasting: the spiritual need for fasting. See, by far, it is the most cutting edge cure for a lackluster prayer life. Again, in the book of Matthew, Jesus separated prayer from fasting and recommended that we do both. Prayer without fasting lacks power, and fasting without prayer lacks power. Prayer without fasting is good, but it doesn't reach its full potential. And on the flip side, fasting without prayer is nothing but a diet. Now, I got to ask myself and ask you, why is fasting the least most common experience for the Christian believer? Why don't people fast? Well, here's my answer. FOH, fear of hunger. You see, people fear discomfort, and therefore they don't try, and therefore they don't get results. And people don't do what does not bring results. I want you to think back, and prior to COVID restrictions, the church building would always be packed full of people. And at any given time, on average, out of all the people in the church, only 3% of those people fast on a regular basis. And that's clergy included. As a matter of fact, while in seminary training, very few ministers are trained in helping the people they serve learn how to fast. If your pastor calls for corporate fasting, consider yourself of the fortunate few. The fasting group is always the smallest group in every church, behind tithers and the prayer warriors for sure. Check it out. The fact that you're watching this video right now means that you're considering being in the fasting group. And that says a lot about you desiring God and to know him on a deeper level. Do yourself a favor. Read books, research online. There are literally millions of outstandingly remarkable transformations and testimonies to the power of disciplined fasting.